when we're dealing with complex PTSD, which can show up as borderline behaviors, the rule of thumb is an infusion of empathy with a strong boundary. Infusion of empathy with strong boundary. And there are very certain relational containers that help with that help because you need strong containment for what the person cannot contain on their own. And you need high octane empathy to help with all of the shame that they feel about it. And learning how to help with that kind of work. And then, of course, lots of complex work. Embodied work, somatic work, memory work, narrative work, parts work, trauma work, compassion. There's so much. And I haven't heard yet that mom is on that healing journey for herself. Other than the ways in which you go out and get things and you bring back little nuggets for her. So I share that in the sense of like, I would figure out for myself in your position, what am I available for and what am I not that would represent self-protection? What is the care that I want to offer that feels good to me and does not come at any sacrifice to me? And where are my no's that I say, while you're in this state, I need for my own well-being to go for a walk and I will see you back in a couple of hours. And I start giving more of her work back to her rather than being the regulating agent of her life. That's
Yeah.
really where I would recommend you put more attention, more focus, more time, more resources, is in reclaiming you, saving you, finding you, bringing you forward, healing from the trauma of having needed to cope with this very volatile whirlwind of a mother and reclaiming your well-being in the face of it, and all of the grief work and healing work that will happen in that journey. I would put more energy there than on trying to figure out how to be mom's therapist. How do you feel about that?
I think there is a resistance
Yeah.
within me with that.
Yeah.
I feel a resistance. I almost feel like it's because she's 77 now,
Yeah.
and I feel like she doesn't have a lot of time left.
Yeah.
I want to give her the quality of life and everything that she needs.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if there's a way for both things to happen. For you to love and care for her in the ways that feel meaningful to you,
yeah,
and also start watching for the places where you can do less self-abandoning or self-putting aside, and just begin playing a little bit with perhaps the things you're needing and the things you're feeling are actually part of the wisdom of what is needed for her healing. And just sit with that as a possibility. And give yourself permission to get space from the things that you find painful and hurtful, not as an abandonment, not as a punishment, but as an act of modeling for her self-care and containment. While you're like this, I can see you're really upset and distressed. I'm going to take a little break and go for a walk and give you some space and time to re-regulate. I'll be back in an hour. Or when you hit your limits, be able to say, I am at the limit of my capacity. Here's what I'm going to do to look after myself, and then I'll be back at this time. Bringing yourself more into the equation more often in a non-abandoning of yourself way. Because there's strong resistance in you to abandon mom. The rule is you are here to serve mom, but it's easy for you to abandon you. And I'm suggesting, what if no one gets abandoned? I want to offer you a different way of thinking about it. When I say to mom's getting dysregulated, maybe in a calm moment, I say to her, listen, I love you so much. I'm not abandoning you. And I'm realizing that the emotional intensity is not good for me. And so when you get dysregulated or angry, or use whatever word when you get really angry and volatile, whatever word she would accept, I'll stay present for as long as I'm able. But when I reach a tipping point, I'm going to look after myself and I'm going to withdraw for an hour or 2 hours or a day, or I will tell you the exact amount of time. And that is so that I can resource myself so that I can be here for you. But when I've had enough, I'm going to withdraw temporarily, and then I'm going to be here for you. And that is not an abandonment. That is just an act of self-care for me and of respect for you, because I know you've lived with this your whole life long, and you will come down and you will have some space to re-regulate, and then we will continue. But there is a point where I'm going to have you work with your feelings while I work with mine, and then we'll come back together again. And that's how we're going to do it moving forward for my well-being and yours. Now, the respect in there is, I know that you can change and you can regulate and you can be choiceful, and you are not a 3-year-old little temper tantruming little girl, and I'm not going to enable her anymore. But I don't have to say it in those words. It's a little bit of telling somebody that you see their strength and you expect them to use it is a little bit of tough love. Does that make sense? And when they push back with all of their like, but you're abandoning me, you're withdrawing me, then you just say, I am not withdrawing. I am not abandoning you. I will be back. You will see me at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. I know you're going to be okay. You're going to self-regulate. I love you very much, and I'll see you soon. So it's not a punishment. It's not an abandonment, but it's also not being held hostage to it for the rest of your life. Those kinds of boundaries are actually very healing for people who are very dysregulated, because it helps them find their own power, which they're very disconnected from.